This is the voice of the Report of the Week, signing on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone listening. This is VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. It is currently Saturday, the 30th of January, 2016. We are here with the VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. And, another show. People were asking me in the comments, they were saying, when's another VORW going to be out, if I might inquire. And I said it'll be Saturday. And it's Saturday, we're recording it, and you'll get it this evening. So that's how it's going to go. That's how we'll get it. And that's that. It's, first and foremost, it's the end of the week. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you're doing all right. Hanging in there. I know for many of us January's a rough month. I know it is. Just how it always is. Always has been for me. That's no lie. And this month is no exception. I know normally when I say, how I'm doing, I hope you guys are doing good, I always say I'm doing good also. But that is just so far from the truth at this point in time. I'm not going to lie to you all, I'm not going to say otherwise, because it would just be such a blatant lie to say that. I'm not doing well. It's a simple fact of the matter. Been a bad week, really depressed. And that's literally all there is to it. Well, why are you sad, review, bro? Just, just something personal to me. Don't want to talk about it, if that's okay. Just really deep in my personal life. It's going to get better. Trust me, I know for a fact it is. But really the only thing to make it better is just the passage of time, and that's it. That's all you can do. Just wait. And one day go by, let another day go by, Sleep through it, just wait. And that's all you can do. Because I literally physically see with my own two eyes the brighter days that are ahead. Because they certainly are. And I can see them. I just have to wait to get there. And that's the worst part. Waiting. So, I'm sorry if this VORW doesn't match my, if such a thing exists. If I'm not as charismatic as I normally am. I would just like to apologize, because that's why, I know many of us listening have been depressed before. You know how it is. I bet some of us are going through it right now, But, just drains everything out of you. You're not genuinely happy or excited. You don't enjoy anything anymore. But so be it. I just keep going on day after day after day. And again, as I say, the one good thing is that I know there's an end in sight. That's the good news. I just have to wait. But it'll get better, trust me. Don't worry, it will. It will. Hope you're doing better. Hope you're doing better. I know my week otherwise was, just not too good of a week, that's all. Not too good of a week. And, that's that. But I hope you've had a better week than mine, just because I've been... Some people, when they're down, they wish all their, bad thoughts and the like upon the rest of the world, too. If I'm not happy, no one else can be, some people think and say. But I don't follow that ideology. And in fact, I hope you had a great week. I really do. I'd rather at least hear about how someone had a good week, you know. Maybe it's a good week at work. Got that promotion. You know. Good week at college. Did well on that, that paper. Good week listening to shortwave. Got a nice QSL card you've been looking for. Maybe relations with your family going well. Whatever it might be. Hope you've been having a good week, though. I really do. Really do. So, that's what I've got. I'm, don't have much to talk about this show. Everything else for me, aside from this, has been standard. Nothing otherwise detrimental. It's snowed for the first time in this season for a while. It has. I'm back in Review Bro, and too, I guess we'll talk about both of those things briefly. Yeah, it's snowed for the first time in the winter, and possibly the last. The region got impacted by the storm, and got impacted by the storm and got a good deal of snow, about 14 inches. But it's melting steadily, but I'm looking out the window now and I can see how the snow just, in even the dark of the evening, it's 5:59 right now, you hear the 6 o'clock chime on the clock right now. The sun is setting. Sky is mostly dark. And gazing off to the west. The sky is mostly dark. I'll slowly be able to see the firmament lit up with stars soon when it gets dark enough for that. But otherwise, I look to the west and very dim light at this point. Mostly dark to the east. And to the west, I'd say only the bottom, not even, maybe 5% of the sky in the west is this very, very, very dim orange. Very dim orange. Above that is like a little bit of a grayish color, and then it says black elsewhere. So it's, it's the final minutes of sunset before night is fully initiated. And, this sky kind of represents, how I'm feeling right now. It does, it's blackness, It's blackness, but there's some light on the horizon at least. And kind of represents how I'm feeling, Can see that light. And every day it'll get a little brighter and brighter until things are good again. Which I know they will be in a short time. But the ground itself is lit up white, from all the snow. Always an interesting little display. You look out at night, normally you can't see much, but you look out now and you can kind of see everything. You can see the yards here, you can see my backyard, the yards behind it, to the right, to the left, and, I can see just this white blanket of snow. Can see all that. Snow is a pretty thing. I admit. It's a very pretty thing. I used to, and still do, during a snowstorm, I just like to sit by the window oftentimes and take in the snow, take in the beauty of nature and watch the snow falling and watch it through the reflecting upon the light of the street light. And it's a very beautiful thing, snow, when it's falling. You could walk outside, and almost most of the noise will be muffled by the snow. Usually no one really travels out in the snow either. And you can just go out, silence, no one around, and you can just enjoy the solitude. And it'll be silent, and you'll just hear the tiny little pitter-patter of some of the snowflakes and ice crystals falling. It's a very beautiful thing, snow, while it's falling, and even sometimes at night while you look at it. When you have to go out in it, that's another story. I myself have had to walk a couple times, and have to walk in the street. No sidewalk. So it's one of those times when I wish that the snow would just melt. And it is, slowly but surely. Every day has been in the 40s. Going to be 55 and raining one day next week. You know, you figure that's going to help that snow go away. So, sooner the better, you know? Sooner the better. Sooner the better. What else did we have to talk about? Talked about the snow. Indeed we did. There was one other thing I wanted to talk about too. But, I guess I forgot. I apologize there. You know, got the snow though. And, back in the day, 2013, God, that's 3 years ago now. But back in the day, used to, 13, 14, even 15, and maybe I'll do it a little bit 2016. I'd go upstairs, and I'd look out the window around 4 a.m., and I'd just watch life. There wasn't much going on. There'd be a passing car here and there, maybe a truck every now and then. I'd always do it in the winter, when no leaves are on the trees, so I can see farther. And I'd just glance out for about an hour or so, and I'd just think, I'd look at the stars, the moon, the snow, anything going on, maybe even open the window and let the cold air hit me. It'd just be something I do from time to time to kind of clear my mind and just think. It's just something I do in the winter time. But, you know, as I said, snow can be a very pretty thing, but at the same time it can be a very annoying thing at that. This is VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. I have a few things to talk about, I remembered now. Mostly channel related, though. But, still worth mentioning. Still worth mentioning. And after that, we got letters to read and respond to, and we have some beautiful fan art to showcase in this. I know the title is still up, but very soon you'll be able to see the beautiful fan art that some fellow listeners worked very hard on, and it's something that deserves to be showcased and shown off and really displayed. There's been an idea cast forth for the subreddit. I know not everyone likes Reddit, I understand. And I don't blame you, Reddit, you know. In some ways, Reddit is, you know, actually it is. It's a cesspool, just like everything else. You could say everything's a cesspool. It has its, you know, degeneracy, and it has its good, it's bad. Has very disgusting things, has some very beautiful things. But every site has that. You can't say every site doesn't, every popular site. Reddit does. Some sites more than others, that's for sure. But every site does. Every site has its good and its bad. Reddit does, 4chan does, Twitter does, Facebook does, Tumblr does, and every other site out there. They all do. They all do. Have their good and their bad. And that's just the fact of the matter. But what I was saying, for those of you who do use Reddit, we're thinking on this subreddit, which I'm a moderator of, help moderate and run the place, having a little tag for fan art, so that people will be able to sort through it easier. And I think that's pretty neat, and we're thinking about initiating that. Because I think that is a good idea, people, and they could save the full high-resolution drawings. But until that's initiated, ladies and gentlemen, if you would be interested in attaining a copy of any drawing of your choice, I'm sure I have them somewhere. I know how to get my hands on them. So let me know if there's any fan art drawing that you like a lot. Okay. Featured in any VORW, and you want to see it, and you want to keep a high-resolution copy, let me know, and I'll email or message the link to you. So I got you there. So feel free to contact me on that regard. Okay. What else do we got going on? Alright, let's just talk about the channel then. Let's see what we got here. We're not going to read the messages just yet. Not just yet. Let's see. What's this? What is this? Here you go. Approved. Okay. Someone's message ended up in the wrong place. Okay, let's talk about the channel. What do we have going on? VORW Show 110 uploaded the 20th of January 2016. Let's talk for a minute about the 20th of January. But not 2016, but 2013. I can't make generalizations, and I can't say how long you have been with us for, how long you've been part of the Report of the Week family on YouTube, if you will, how long you've been following this channel for. I know some people have been here for nearly 5 years now. I know some people have been here for 5 hours, but it doesn't really make a difference for how long you've been here. I'm gonna just explain it the same to everyone, whether you remember it or not. But January 20th, 2013, was a very influential day in this channel's history. And in my life, believe it or not, because this channel has had an impact on my life greater than I could ever have foreseen it. And I absolutely mean that. That this channel really has shaped my life and has changed its entire course. And that is not an understatement, because that's what this YouTube channel has done. And it's an incredible thing to think about, but it's true. That this YouTube channel's, I mean, in a good way, I mean that too, but irrevocably changed my entire life. Because without this channel, I would not be the same person remotely. But this channel has made me learn a lot about life and humanity and myself too. And I think, to put it as in a sense, I think I've turned out better because of it. I think so. In 2013, I learned a very important lesson. And it all started in January. Ladies and gentlemen, in January of 2013, the very beginning of January, this channel wasn't remotely big at all. 200 subscribers about. That's right, no, 200 subscribers, and maybe in total, out of all the videos I had, which were around 150, had maybe 30,000 views in total. So it averaged only around 100 views, if even, with some bigger than others, of course. There's one video that had like 5,000 views, but that was it. Most videos had between 20 and 100 views, and that's it. That's it. It was a pretty small channel. But in January of 2013, all starting on the 16th, concluding the 20th, someone posted, and sometimes you'll hear me refer to this in videos, and you might wonder to yourself, well, why does he put so much emphasis on this? You may hear me refer to the Pan Pizza review, or as I'll jokingly call it, the Pan Pizza review, because that's mocking how I feel I sounded at the time. And you may wonder, why does he reference this Pan Pizza review so much, and why does it have so many views in comparison to your other videos? I'll tell you. An individual posted the pan pizza review to Reddit 3 years ago now. To Reddit, it was posted. And it snowballed. Okay, it got the lit up butts, you know, as they say over there. And people upvoted it. And it kind of snowballed in a sense. From there, it gathered around some thousands, upvotes and hundreds of comments, and people began sharing this. They said, "Holy S, look at this." And I just quote how the majority of comments were. It wasn't a positive event, really, but in the end, it was a negative event that shaped to be a positive event, You had this, they had the kids who were posting it around the internet, my videos, and they would say, "Yeah, look at this tard in his suit reviewing this food like he's something else," and people were commenting, they were laughing at me. Not the kind of audience I have now, which, truth be told, is full of people who at least have the dignity to, at least be able to watch the videos and, in a sense, at least understand what they actually are, which is legit reviews with some humor added too. And but these people, they didn't. They're, to use this lingo, because that really is what they were. They really were a bunch of, a lot of alpha male chads. Okay, they were, I mean, that's the only way to put it. It was posted from Reddit to sites like, to sites, especially this crew was the worst. It was posted to, Barstool Sports and all these, these sports sites. It's not to say sports fans are bad, but you get all these, alpha male guys who just are on their high horse and, if you're not just like them, you're just a piece of garbage, and they'll make that very clear to you. And it was posted to those sites. College Humor acknowledged it, all this stuff. And the video snowballed from around 500 views beforehand to around 200 views 200,000 views in about a day and a half. And the channel went from 200 to around 2,200 subscribers in the same period of time. But it wasn't a good audience. They were mean. They were mocking me as just mockers and scoffers. Because the fact of the matter is, I shouldn't say this, but for most people it takes a couple days, or at least a period of binge watching, to actually realize, to actually kind of let the phase, where you're making fun of the videos, kind of that phase to shift, where you actually kind of become a genuine viewer. Kind of takes a few sessions of treatment to do that. So all these people were just the first wave, very hostile, very mean. No one really understood the premise of the channel or whatnot. They didn't get it. They didn't really like me. I didn't really like them. And I just couldn't take it anymore. It just wasn't going well. Wasn't going well. They were fighting with me. I was fighting back. It was just overwhelming, and I just had to pull the plug for a while. And I kind of shut the channel down for about 2 months. And then I came back in March of 2013, and it was better from there on, because in that time I was able to frequent a forum that was where I was popular on to an extent, called bodybuilding.com. I actually just checked in there a couple of days ago and, just kind of bumped the old thread and, said hello to them all. But I was able to get to know this community better, and they're kind of the first group that was really able to understand the videos and be, not like a, mocking audience, but an actual audience. And from there, they watched it. That kind of led to the spread of the videos to the fitness community on 4chan. They gave me hell, but that in the end worked out as a positive, because I was able to again realize some few things about myself and other people. And from there I just spread to other sites, and now it's been a good period. We've kind of found a good balance of a good audience here, and that's how I like it. Nonetheless, had that never have happened, and had that individual never have posted that video to Reddit, I would be a different person right now. None of these things would have happened. None of these events never would have happened. None of the events that were sparked because of this channel never would have happened, or would have happened differently. I wouldn't have been the same person, and it's a very interesting thing. So it really is a very important life event that happened, and not an event that should be celebrated because it wasn't a happy time. But in the end, it is an event to be acknowledged and understood. So every year around this time, I'll kind of talk about it and give the whole story. So that's what we have. Have any questions about that, feel free to message me and we'll talk about it in the next VORW. We will. And with that being said now, let's talk about the latest videos. Taco Bell Spicy Beefy Nacho Crunchwrap Slider review. Last review filmed in the car, as of now. Reviewed this slider. Taco Bell quality. Taco Bell prices. That's all there is to it. Following that, a failed Little Caesars pizza review. That was an interesting video. We were trying to be creative. Just trying to say, hey, okay. Let's, there's snow on the ground, because it's just after it had recently snowed, I guess. Just after it had recently snowed. We said, let's be creative and let's go out and, film this review in the snow. So it worked out good at first. It, it had, good lighting at first, very, very pretty, aesthetically pleasing scene. You can see a little dim still, but you could see me, you could see the pizza, you can see that snow-capped hill in the background, the sunset, and, all that. But then as it happened, it got darker and darker, and, ended up not being able to see me or the pizza, and I was oblivious to it. I just kept talking, but, it was unsalvageable as a review itself. I mean, you couldn't. The YouTube, I have a YouTube editor, a brightness tool, it lets you, manually adjust the brightness for situations like this, if you will. But what happens is it's not the best brightness tool in the world. So, you adjust the brightness, right? And it just kind of adds artificial color. So it makes my skin become orange, like I'm an Oompa Loompa. Or, I have this fake spray tan. And that looks even worse. Alright, so I'm just not going to fuss with it anymore. Not going to mess with it. Just going to upload it as is, and we'll call it an outtake. It'll be a failed review, because it's a legitimate review, but it just didn't end up the way we wanted it to. So therefore, we did that, and overall the reaction to it has been positive. People always like seeing stuff that doesn't go according to plan. I don't blame them. It can be fun. Following that, on the 26th, Pizza Hut stuffed garlic knots pizza food review. Another pizza review following that. This time done indoors with proper lighting. And after that, Energy Crisis number 140, Hansen's Energy 123 Punch. First review in the old setting. And soon thereafter was the Burger King extra long buttery cheeseburger, because butter on a cheeseburger is everything we ever need in life. People were complaining, why was the camera, why is the camera in a standard definition? And, some people just don't watch. It's that simple. I hate to be so bitter, but it's just how it is. Some people just don't watch, don't listen. It was explained in the beginning of Energy Crisis number 140. where I said that just for that setting in this studio here, this office, it's just really the only acceptable camera to fit the aesthetic of this area. But when I go out and I do reviews in public and all that stuff, and any other videos, they'll be filmed in HD, don't you worry. You're going to get your 60 frames per second goodness, so don't you worry. Okay? But, some people are just downright mean about it, and no reason to be. No reason at all to be. That's just how it is. And finally, WWRB station manager loses control on air, yelling and ranting. People actually liked that one. It got some people interested in shortwave. Makes me think about maybe one day redoing the shortwave VORW shows that I did back in 2014, early of. And makes me want to kind of redo them and redo it in almost like now a collegiate style lecture. That'll be more advanced, more technical, and, I'm thinking about doing something like that, but your feedback, again, is always appreciated. And that's what we got. And the next video uploaded, of course, will be this one. The VORW show, I guess that's number 111 now. Closing off January, and then we'll have February VORWs. February 20th, by the way, and you're going to hear me mention this in future VORWs. February 20th is a very important date in this channel's history. It marks the 5-year anniversary of the formation of this channel. 5 years, and I'm thinking about buying a special slot of airtime on WBCQ to kind of commemorate that, and I'll buy an hour of airtime and get a special program on the air. I'll see if I'm financially able to do that, though, because all the money I get right now goes to the channel. But if I can get my hands on something else and be able to just scrap together a couple bucks here and there, I'll be able to get an hour and have a special commemorative VORW show for the shortwave that'll be broadcast to the world, and it'll be neat. So we'll see. It's in the planning stages still. Who knows if it'll fall through or what, but as of now, something to keep your eye on. That being said, let's move to the YouTube inbox and let's read some letters. This is VORW, the voice of the report of the week. Second half of our show begins at the tone. This is VORW, the voice of the report of the week. This is the mailbag portion of the show where we read and respond to your letters. Whatever they may be of support, of criticism, general statements, requests, suggestions, and anything in between. Of course, answers to the VORW question, which was asked previously in the last show. That's what we got. That's what we have for you. Without further ado, feel free to contact us, of course, via one of the following means. Remember that if you don't contact us, your letter will not be acknowledged on the air. And, of course, this fan mail portion is really the signature portion of the VORW show. And it's what makes this show, well, what it is. So, that said, here's how you can contact us and get your letter to us. First and foremost, via YouTube. Go to youtube.com/user/report-of-the-week. Click on the About tab. Click on Send Message. Type in the contents of your message and send that off, and it will get to me in the YouTube inbox. If you're not a YouTube person and you would prefer to contact me via email, that itself is always an acceptable form of contact. Feel free to contact me via email as well. Send your email to repweekinterview1@gmail.com. That's REPWEEKINTERVIEW1, the number 1, no spaces in anything, at gmail.com. And if you're still not sure on that address, click on the View Business email, I believe. There's a button about email at the bottom of the About tab. Type in the little CAPTCHA, and you'll see that as well. Or you can email me via VORWINFO@gmail.com. That's VORWinfo@gmail.com. VORWINFO@gmail.com. Well, what email should I use? I mean, it's 2 emails. Doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. Whichever one's easier for you, because both of them are getting to the same exact place, and that is my eyes. Though they are read in the following order, it's always the same. YouTube inbox is read first, then Rep Week Interview 1 email read first, and then VORW email read next. And, of course, the question which was used in the last VORW is part of a series now, was, what is your favorite burger from a major establishment? This question now is, which major establishment, in your opinion, has the best chicken dish? Okay? Now, chicken dish can mean anything. If it has chicken on it, that counts. Chicken sandwich, chicken tendies, chicken nuggets, chicken wraps. If it deals with chicken, you're good to go. Chicken thighs or fries. If it's got chicken, you're good to go, and it's acceptable. And this could account for a number of places. You can say McDonald's. Right, McDonald's has the best chicken. Burger King's got the best chicken. Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, KFC, Popeyes, Church's Chicken, Dairy Queen, DQ, Sonic. Major establishments, but if you feel like a local place has the best chicken you've ever had, you can list that too. Yeah, I think Arnie Coro's Chicken is the best place of them all, located in Tennessee. You know, you can say that. And if you're wondering who Arnie Coro is, he doesn't have a chicken place, actually, it's just a name. Arnie Coro is the second founding member of Radio Havana, Cuba, and I believe he's currently the owner of Radio Havana, Cuba. He has a program on shortwave every week on their English service called DXers Unlimited with Arnie Coro, where he'll talk about shortwave propagation and listening tips and all that. I believe I don't think it's Wednesdays. I think Wednesdays is when they have the mailbag show on RHC. Who knows? You listen enough, you'll hear it. Good signal, 6,000 kilohertz. Regardless. Whatever major establishment, for the most part, you feel has the best chicken dish. Love to hear your answers. And if you want to let me know why, feel free to. But, of course, again, one of the following means, via email or via YouTube. And I'd love to hear your answers. These answers will be in response to the ones I'm reading now, to the burger question. Same question, but simply put, which major establishment do you feel has the best burgers? Here we go. Greetings, Review Bra. As I'm sure is the case with many of your viewers, I'm always impressed by the neat and tidy way you eat potentially messy fast food meals. In fact, when I watch other food reviewers, it's not hard to compare their occasionally messy methods of consuming their meals with your immaculate manners. What are your thoughts on a, shall we say, interesting food reviewer like Joey's World Tour, who seems to take pleasure in tearing into food with reckless abandon? Will you ever offer advice to the man? I'm sure many of his viewers would thank you. Thanks, and keep up the good work, from Stuart. Well, first of all, thank you for writing, Stuart. Joey's World Tour. But, you know, part of me thinks that's his thing. Okay? That's what he kind of goes off of. I think that's part of his channel, you know, just like how me, right, with my channel. I mean, yeah, I can say, yeah, you know, a bib would be nice or something. Or, you know, But part of me thinks that it's something that he does, I think, intentionally, to kind of, in even a sense, make it his brand, right? He wants to make that kind of what people are going to associate, make his channel memorable from just some portly fellow sitting in the car reviewing food because there's other guys who do that exact same thing. He's got to do something to make his channel stand out among the rest. So he kind of makes this his little thing. He makes, the eating, or perhaps it's something that he's always done, but he decided to utilize it in a good way, to make that the thing that stands him out. Right, with me, I have my suits. I don't think there's really many other food reviewers who wear suits. There's a couple, but not many, at least to this extent. And I've always worn suits, but at the same time, it's kind of the thing that, among many people, makes my channel recognizable. That if I wore jeans and a t-shirt, who knows what would have happened. If this channel ever would have even gotten to where it is. So I think it's really just Joey's brand, I mean, would it be annoying? Yeah, but I think that's just what he chooses to do with his channel, to make it his own thing, Yo, my dude. This is another message, by the way. Yo, my dude. If I can be real with ya, in my opinion, the most banging of all burger joints is Shake Shack. Get myself a double Shack burger when I go, and I never leave disappointed. It's quite the stop, my man. They even have dog food. And a question for you. Since I know you're a fan of those, what's your favorite food? Shake Shack. At first I thought that was Steak and Shake, but it's not. It's a different place. Shake Shack. Shake Shack. Shake Shack. Well, I myself like 3 types of food. I like burgers, I like pizza, and I like wings. But let's talk about burgers this time around, because we're answering burger-related questions today. What is my favorite burger? I'd say my favorite, I'm going to give maybe a top, let me see. I'm thinking right now. Give me a minute. Yep, I got a top 5 for you. Okay? Here goes. My top 5 burger places. National chains, for the most part. Number 1, Five Guys. No questions asked. Number 2, In-N-Out Burger. Number 3, okay? Number 3, I'd have to say Steak and Shake. I mean, if you've ever been to a Steak and Shake, the first time I was ever at a Steak and Shake, and the last, has been in my recent excursion to Florida. And I mean, Steak and Shake is something else. I mean, they're just a great place. 24 hours. The employees dress nice. They always wear different shirt and ties. And a place when I go to Florida again, which I figure I will be over the course of this year, I'm definitely going to be going there again. So, Steak and Shake is number 3. Number 4 is Smash Burger. They're pretty good. And then number 5, literally the exact same thing as Smash Burgers, Mooyah Burgers. I mean, there's no difference between the two whatsoever. They're the exact same thing, but a different name. That's kind of like a tie, but, kind of fills up the list. That's my favorite. On to the next. Greetings, Review Bra. The other night I sent an email that will likely be read later in the VORW that you're recording. I go a little more in depth with some talking points, but I failed to add one idea to my original message. Have you ever considered reviewing specialty restaurants around the states as you travel? You tend to do your awesome fast food reviews, but every city has their best blanks here. In the suburbs of Chicago, for instance, we have the best hot dog in the state, likely the country and possibly the planet, available at Gene and Jude's Hot Dogs. Any Chicagoland listener likely knows the place and can vouch. Any future trips you take, I would love for you to be able to experience things exclusive to the cities you visit. And I'm sure any other listeners can voice their ideas for their local areas, best foods and joints. Hope you have a good day and keep on bricking. Well, thank you very much. And I will keep going on. Things will get better. They will. Interesting. Because at the same time, while it's a local place, and maybe only one of these establishments around, it's nationally recognized. Something to consider. And if anyone has feedback on his response, always appreciated too. Let me know what you think, if I should start branching out into those iconic places. Certainly be neat. For instance, go to Philly, get an authentic Philly cheesesteak from, either Pat's King of Steaks or Geno's, and such. Hello. When it comes to burgers, as well as other staple fast food items like fries and shakes, Five Guys is by far my favorite, albeit very expensive compared to other options. Here in the UK, a full meal at Five Guys can cost upwards of £15 or so, or around $21 US. So I only eat there as a treat. And yeah, you're right about that. That's the problem with Five Guys, is that it's very expensive. I mean, you have to be a 10K per day CEO to even consider walking through that door. The Five Guys, though, I mean, it's expensive. For what it is, it's expensive. You can say, yeah, but you get what you pay for, and you're right. But, I mean, you can't eat there every day. You're breaking the bank if you do that. I can't, for sure. I'll go to Five Guys maybe a few times a year. Maybe like 3 times a year. 3 to 4 times a year. Because it's a treat. It's, number one, it's the best place I've been for burgers. So it's almost like a delicacy. Too much of a good thing will kind of just dispel you away from it. So you got to limit that input. And secondly, it's just very expensive. That money instead I can be using to buy and fund new reviews. But nonetheless. Dear Review Bra, to answer your question, I believe Shake Shack has the best burgers, primarily because they are by far the greasiest. Wow, another vote for Shake Shack. Let's see where they are. See if there's any in the area. Shake Shack, it's called. Let's see if there's any in the city or something. I wonder. Let's see, Google Maps here. Alright, there's a couple in Manhattan. Long Island, Connecticut. Wonder. If the opportunity is presented to me to get to one, I'll try it. People clearly like it. And usually by grease, the more grease it is, the better it is. As someone has said years ago, and I agree highly with the statement, they say, fast food, good for the mind, bad for the body. And it's very true. It's bad for you, but is it good for your mind, alright? A nice greasy meal will leave you content for the day. The person also writes, I think you may have missed my message in the previous VORW, so I send again. Not sure exactly where Review Bra Land is, but if you're within 1 hour of Clifton, New Jersey, I would highly, highly recommend reviewing the Hot Grill and Rutt's Hut. Both are legendary in New Jersey establishments and consistently rank high for their fast food. A few months ago, Rutt's Hut was ranked the best hot dog in New Jersey. We got a hot dog feud going on, ladies and gentlemen. Chicago versus New Jersey. The deep-fried hot dogs and relish sauce are to die for. Not literally, but you know what I mean. The Hot Grill has savory burgers with an incredible chili sauce like no other. I know you would enjoy and rate highly. Hope all is well. Keep up the good work. And your reviews are a pleasure to watch. All the best from Nick. Thank you for writing. Let's add some more water. My throat's kind of drying out. Take a trip over here. Well, isn't that a coincidence? Two people have mentioned reviewing kind of state-renowned restaurants. It's pretty interesting. You know, coincidence the other day that happened. I was out. I went to get the Burger King for the review. And there was a Sbarro nearby, so I kind of sat down. As I said, just I've been killing time lately, just waiting for time to pass. So I went down, sat down, bought a breadstick, and I was just, nibbling on it and just staring at the floor, not doing much. And a store next to the Sbarro was playing music, loud. I could hear it from permeating through the wall to this other store. It was a mix of dance music, but there was a song they played that I thought was very catchy. Okay, I liked it, and I remembered at the time I was trying to remember the chorus so I can look it up and be able to figure out what song this was. I really liked the tune. Get home, do the review, and what happens? I forgot the lyrics, but I remembered how the song went. I remembered how the tune went, but I forgot the main lyrics that would lead me to the song name, and therefore an online recording that I can listen to over and over. Shoot. I hate when this happens, I said. You forget a song's name or lyrics, know how it sounds like, and you're effectively screwed. You don't know. You're kind of at a loss. You gotta wait for it to play again and give it another go, or wait for that little spark where you actually remember it. I couldn't see that happening anytime soon. So later that night, about 8 hours later, maybe 9, I was sitting there at the computer. I was listening to some shortwave. I was listening to the Voice of America, their shortwave broadcast at night. And they blast into North America at night. I mean, they come in so loud with their English service, because it's broadcast out of North Carolina with a high-power transmitter. So because of the proximity, the broadcast is heard very good over here on the East Coast. So I'm listening to the Voice of America. They play music on the weekends, and I was listening to their music mix. And don't you think, what song comes on? This exact same one that I heard earlier in the day. I mean, the exact same song comes on. I hear it immediately, get the lyrics, look it up, and I found the song. And here's the real thing, though. You'd say, yeah, well, that's not too bad. I mean, it's probably some new song that's on the charts. Of course you're going to hear it on every station. But here's the thing. This song was actually released in early 2014. Only has 3 million views on YouTube. Isn't even remotely popular anymore. So it's not even on the charts. Hasn't been on the charts for 2 years. Yet, coincidentally, just as I was thinking about it, this song comes on The Voice of America, and I'm able to hear it again. I mean, that's some crazy coincidence right there. But, then I was talking, saying, maybe I should be playing the Powerball lottery. Maybe we'll win, that. And then I'll be like those idiots who won the big jackpot and went on the Today Show and said where they lived and everything, because their hotshot lawyer just wanted to get his 15 minutes of fame. An idiot. Hate to get on a tangent like that, but it just reminded me. Here we go, next one. Dear John, one of the things that makes VORW so great is your mysteriously soothing voice. I'm sure many listeners would love it if you could take special advantage of that and do readings of short stories or poems on the show. Anything written by an author who died at least 100 years ago is in the public domain. That's interesting. I was thinking about reading stuff on the air, and maybe I will. Maybe at some point I'll get a segment on the VORW show where I'll be able to perhaps do a reading of some sort of short story. Might be something to consider. Very interesting. Thank you for that advice. Hey, this one I would get back to on its own. Here we go. Let's get a sip of water for this one. Greetings from Arizona and the TV board of 8chan. Not 4chan, but 8chan. I'm sad to say I was originally one of your hecklers way back in your Domino's Pan Pizza review days. I didn't understand the appeal at the time and admittedly made some very harsh and unfair judgments. However, I still found myself once in a while compelled to come back and check on your status, and recently became a fully dedicated follower. I'm one of the fans who do very much enjoy your hour-plus videos and hope they continue. To answer your question, I'd have to say that Jack in the Box burgers are definitely my favorite. I feel like Jack in the Box really has a diner quality to it, with the prices to match, as unfortunate as that may be. But it's worth the money in my opinion. I live in Arizona, as I said, and so I have access to multiple In-N-Outs, should I so choose to eat there. Yet I still find that Jack in the Box is the first that comes to mind anyway when I'm in the mood for a burger. And I'd especially recommend their sourdough Jack and their milkshakes. That's interesting. I've never had Jack in the Box, so I can't attest to that. But if you ever get the chance, maybe that'll kick out one of the, Mooyah or Smash Burger guys, from the list, and maybe Jack in the Box would take charge there. I have two questions for you, the latter of which I fear may find too controversial to answer bluntly on the show, but the topic has still left me disillusioned with mankind, really. Well, that's how I feel a lot of the time, too, so we're in the same boat there. I spend a lot of time thinking about it and like to hear your opinion if you're willing to share. You said you gave up on video games years ago, and I want to congratulate you on that, as stupid as it may sound. Can you explain further what made you lose interest in them? Yes, I gave up video games 3 years ago now. And the reason being was that I lost interest and I lost appeal. I grew up in the time when video games were, first and foremost, I grew up in the time when video games were really just associated as children's toys. I mean, you remember that. You remember those days, I'm sure we all do. When adults, they didn't play video games, it wasn't something the grown-ups did, This was early 2000s, late 90s. Where the adults, they had their jobs and their families, and they weren't interested, for the most part, in playing video games. The only ones who really did were the video game developers themselves, but that's it. That's how society was back then. It was just for younger people. But obviously that trend has since stopped, because the younger people who really played these types of video games grew up, and they keep playing video games. It's been a thing that's really permeated its way into first world society, in all levels for the most part. Nonetheless, what made me lose interest in video games was simply because they're not how they were anymore. I liked video games that had a little bit of action, but they weren't gory. They weren't full of, bloodshed and swearing and sex and all of that. I wanted one that had a good plot, a good storyline, not too violent, something that made you, be able to use your mind to think some things through, and not just, pull the fake trigger and kill all those, whatever it may be at the time, kill all those, whoever it is you're killing in this game, So something to that extent. But, as time progressed, video games, the graphics just changed, the plots of games just changed, and it just became something that didn't interest me anymore, and I said, no thank you, I'm off this bandwagon, The last video game I played, which is the one that actually got me to stop playing them for good, was on the Nintendo Wii, back in 2010. It was this Call of Duty game that one of the folks got as a gift. And I played it. I said to myself, what the heck is this? And I said, from this, if this is what video games have become, I'm done. I'm just done. So I dropped it, and I got a different hobby. And now what I do is I just, I listen to shortwave radio. I'll just turn on the radio, right here. Turn it on, scan around. Just listen to different stations, that are on, right to them, get a view of the world, alternate media sources, and get exposed to different cultures, all of that. And you get free stuff, too, if you write to the stations. And the individual writes, and second, what is your opinion of this new culture in the West where peers and corporations alike actively encourage children and young adults to set aside education and the pursuit of knowledge, fitness, and self-improvement in general, and all other objectively more intellectually challenging and artistic mediums, in order to leave more time and money to blow on video games? I find myself unable to connect with human beings much anymore, because every conversation I have with people seems to turn into video games. Even in chat rooms I have tried dedicated to completely different topics, and every 5 minutes video games are brought up, and I'm inadvertently booted out of the conversation because I have nothing positive to add to any video game talk. I find it very frustrating, and at this point I've pretty much given up attempts at socializing, especially on the internet. As a result of this video game takeover, it's very disturbing to me, especially when I ask someone what type of music they enjoy and they answer video game music. Sickening, really. Regards from Marco. Well, Marco, thank you for writing, and, truth be told, I myself don't play video games. I myself don't have any aspirations whatsoever to return to playing video games. And I understand. I myself have problems with society, too. And it's something that I normally don't like to talk about on the VORW show. Because I mostly try to keep this show, I try to keep it a positive show. I try to keep the show positive and mostly channel focused, but from time to time I have to, I get down, and usually that opens the door to all this stuff, and I'm more inclined to talk about it. And in my opinion, the world that I enjoy, the world that I feel comfortable in, and the world that perhaps I would want to be, a part of is dying. It's not dead yet, but it's going to be dead very soon. And it really is a sad thing to see. Then instead you're being ushered in by force to a world that you really don't belong in. And you don't like it? Well, deal with it, The world you like is dying, it's going to be dead, and it's never coming back. So have fun. That's what people will say. And it's sad. It really is. The society is dying. Anything society related pretty much is gone for me already. The way people dress, social media, priorities, everything, gone at this point in time. The way many things are, just taken care of. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but everything is changing, and it's not in my favor at all. And I figure at this point I have under a decade before it's finalized, so, I just gotta enjoy what I've got while it's still there. Because eventually it's not going to be, and, after that, for however long we're still around for, it's going to be different. So, it's something I really lament. It is. It's a world that I wish I was around in longer, and I just have to say, why did it have to be that I had to enter in while it's, while it's dying? It's a shame, it really is. It's saddening, truth be told. And there's not a single thing I can do about it. Just have to sit there and watch it. It's, the grass isn't going to be greener anytime soon in terms of the world. No time soon at all. Not something I like to talk about because never a happy subject, but it's something that crosses my mind often. When I'm feeling down, I'll sometimes bring this stuff up. Thank you for writing, Marco. Review Bro, I've been a viewer for a few years now, and I must admit that I found out about the channel around the time the Maymays started appearing on a certain fitness image board, so around 2013. I'd like to start by saying keep up the good work. Though I voted for comments to be approved, allowing them has done more good than bad, it seems. The channel, and especially the VORWs, really helped out with the loneliness. I know you may not like coffee or tea that much, but I like the viewer's suggestion in VORW 110. Coffee reviews could be a whole new series. You can get a cheap Keurig or Tassimo and view the various flavors. I'm not trying to come off as a coffee lobbyist, but coffee is better for you health-wise than all the energy drinks. I also know that you've done latte reviews in the past from Starbucks, and there's always that as well. Of course, from here you could open the floodgates of expansion interviewing various teas. North of the border, I too have noticed a drop in KFC's quality. Gone are the good days, it seems. Now that you're mobile, and have stated that you visited Canada in the past, have you ever considered doing a cross-border review at a Canadian A&W, or perhaps a poutineery? Thank you for your time, your channel, and all the hard work, and please continue producing great content. More lectures welcome. Well, thank you very much. Coffee, I am a coffee drinker. I don't drink coffee extremely frequently, but I do drink it. So I am a coffee drinker, and it does have more health benefits. A cup of coffee is better for you than a cup of Monster. That's just how it is. It's better for you health-wise. Coffee, I used to drink a lot more. I don't anymore, but I still drink it. I still do. I still drink the coffee from time to time. And if I ever get to Canada again, I imagine it someday I will. Maybe I'll review something from Canada. Last time I was in Canada was 2012. 2012. And Canada's a nice place. Canada's nice. Canada is a nice place. Yeah, it's, everything's going downhill. Quality of things is going down. The world's going downhill too. World's going downhill, and so is everything else with it, it seems. And, as I say, what can I do, right? Sometimes think, I wish. There's a good phrase. I believe it was originated from Oscar Wilde. And goes something like this. Said that youth is wasted on the youth. And I thought to myself, it's a very good phrase. It is. Thought to myself, it's a very good phrase. And a very true one at that. Oftentimes I'll say, I wish I could have been around, 20 years ago. Wish I could have been older back then. I say that. I say, wish I could have gone back 20 years. And rather than being a child, I wish I had a fully developed adult mind. I wish I was able to enjoy the world back then, but alas, as the saying goes, youth is wasted on the youth. Where, pretty much a child, up until age 10 or so, really isn't even a critical thinking individual. In some ways they are, but in most cases, they're modeled in a sense from what their parents teach them, right? And past that age of 10 or so, 10, 11, 12, the child begins to question things. Begins to say, well, why do things have to be this way? Why does this have to work like that? I'm talking about more advanced critical thinking questions. Some kids will say, why is the grass green? Why is the sky blue? Why does that bird fly? But that's not saying, well, in a serious manner, why do things need to be done this way? Question how things actually work in a complex manner. To sometimes question answers as well. Most of the time before that age, they'll usually just accept whatever answer they're given. Sometimes I just say, I wish I could have been. I know I would have enjoyed those days more than I enjoy today, that's for sure. And I just say, sometimes I wish I could have been older back then. Instead, I was just, brainless. And by the time I gained any sort of reasonable thought, those days were on their deathbed. And today it's pretty much ceases to exist. And I say, again, there's nothing I can do about it. I can sit there and reminisce, and that's it. Could sit there, look at old pictures, and, that's the closest I'll ever get. I could look at an old picture, look at the surroundings, could examine it, could close my eyes, can say, if I were there right now, how it would be. That's the only thing I could ever do. Can't go back. It's a shame. Sorry for such a depressing VORW, but, I imagine next week will be a better one. Greetings, Report of the Week. In response to your last VORW question, I would have to give a nod to Five Guys for best fast food burger. However, this is my favorite fast food sandwich. However, my favorite fast food sandwich is definitely Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich with Chick-fil-A sauce. If you have the chance to go back to Chick-fil-A, I highly recommend this sandwich with a side of waffle fries. It's not bad. I've been to Chick-fil-A a few times now, but I've been getting just the standard Chick-fil-A sandwich with the Chick-fil-A sauce. Next time I get to one, I'll have the spicy sandwich. I'll give that a shot, and I'll let you know how it is. I have a general request for you. It seems like the Running on Empty series has taken over the channel in recent months, and I was hoping that you can do an Energy Crisis review and do more reviews frequently of energy drinks. That's what the channel is built upon. But thanks for all these videos lately. We fans appreciate the frequency of your channel. Thank you very much. And upon reading your message, I decided to make the next review I did an Energy Crisis one, so hence the Hanson's review was born. And there will be more Energy Crisis reviews to continue on, of course. I switched locations, by the way, where I'm recording this right now. I took a brief break, and I printed out all the letters here on this paper. And I just went downstairs. I'm in the basement now. Needed to be, alone. You know how it is. Going to the sink and having some tap water now. Okay. No cups down here, so I had to cup my hand and drink out of that. But it works. It works. That's what I did. Took 4 sips. Tap water's not the best, but better than nothing. Greetings and salutations, VORW. I hope you had a nice time traveling. I enjoyed watching your reviews from all the new places. It was like watching an episode of Where in the World is VORW. I'm so happy that you finally reviewed Chick-fil-A. I don't get to eat it much, since there are only 2 locations I know of that are somewhere near me. But when I do make the trek to a location, I see it as a nice treat. You are right that the sandwiches are very simple, but that's what I love about it. I think it knocks all the other fast food chicken sandwiches out easily. As when I eat one of the Chick-fil-A sandwiches, it's like you put a huge piece of juicy southern fried chicken on the bun. So to me, it only needs a pickle added, and that's it. I agree, though. I absolutely agree with you. The simplicity of the chicken sandwich is really one of its major strengths, in that it's such a it's such a simplistic sandwich. Chicken and pickles. Sauce is optional, and that's it. You don't need anything else. You don't need to get some fancy sesame seed bun, some fancy lettuce and tomato, and some bacon strips added, and, you don't need any of that. You don't need to give it some fancy name. It's just a piece of chicken and pickles. That's all you need to it. It's literally perfected in every other way. You don't need anything else. You don't need anything else for it. I agree with you. To answer this show's question about burgers, I'm torn between 2 places. Let's hear them. One is a local chain and the other is a relatively major chain. The 2 locations are the New York Burger Company and Five Guys. The New York Burger Company is a growing restaurant chain in Manhattan. I'm not sure if it has expanded to other areas of New York or other areas of the 5 boroughs. Whenever I'm in Manhattan, I love stopping by for a burger from them. And I'd have to say, they have superior burger patty quality to Five Guys and have great, fresh toppings for fantastic sauces. And the fries are also great. So Five Guys and New York Burger Company are my top choices for best burgers. Yes, absolutely. I actually walked through, was taking a walk in Manhattan the other day, and passed by, I think, one of the New York Burger Company places. Didn't go in, though. I, had things to do. But, interesting. Let's see. I think you've mentioned the topic of Star Wars before in one of your VORW shows. So with the combination of Star Wars mania going around, I've been inspired to ask some Star Wars questions. Suppose these only apply if you're a Star Wars fan. Would you support the Rebel Alliance or the Galactic Empire? I'd support the Galactic Empire. I would. They have nicer uniforms, better technology, and they're, number one, they're an empire. They're more orderly. If the stormtroopers knew how to shoot correctly, that would be nice. But I guess they have so many of them to go around. It's it's nothing to them really. Let's see what else. Would you be a Jedi or a Sith? Again, I'd probably be... I just think, to me, it's always in the movies, always the bad guys are always, cooler than the good guys. The Sith is always... They're always a lot, a lot better than the Jedis in terms of their cool level, That's just what I think, at least. And the Jedi, they just wear their little robes. I mean, the Sith, they wear these fancy capes and elaborate outfits and everything. They're so refined looking, many of them. You know, that's what I think. And who is your favorite Star Wars character? And this one is just going off the traditional ones, but you know, despite the fact that the movies, and this is not off the new Star Wars, this is now just based off of the, you know, just the majority of the most well-known ones, you know, especially the three more traditional original Star Wars films. Despite the fact they do like, you know, the Galactic Empire, I mean, Luke Skywalker is the main character. He's the person they focus on the most, so it's perhaps for that reason that they allow for more character development in him than any other character, in a lot of it. But I really do like that. You know, I like that, you know, just the character that he is. You know, he's a good guy, gets to, again, a lot of character development and all of that. He continues here. I have some more, but I don't want to bombard you with all of them. Perhaps I'll ask them on a later date. Yeah, feel free. That's all I have for this scroll. I hope all is very well for you. All the best from Rob. Well, thank you for writing, Rob, of course. A regular writer here on VORW. And, you know, things are going as they are, but things will get better. And that I can promise you all. They will. Good evening, ROTW of the week. Hope this week has been going well for you. It's been quite a while since the last VORW, so I was happy to see a new one. To answer your question, I think the best burgers is from Red Robin. They specialize in gourmet burgers of various kinds. The quality is great, and the price isn't too bad either, considering the burger comes with bottomless fries. Second best would have to be Five Guys. I went there after seeing your rave review, and I was not disappointed in the least. To be blunt, it's extremely tasty. I'm usually into the more gourmet stuff, but if you want just a standard burger, I think there's no better place than Five Guys. Anyways, you have a good one, and take care. Well, thank you. I've never been to a Red Robin. There's one somewhat near me. Maybe one day I'll go there, maybe do a review of it, if they let you take it out or something. But I've never been to Red Robin. I always see those weird commercials. I'll never forget this one from about 3 years ago or so. They were saying something about a burger daddy in the commercial. That one just stuck to me. Don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but that one just stuck with me. But, you know. Red Robin. Yum, as the slogan goes. This person writes, be careful what you post, bro. They can shut down your channel. Stay cool. And that's all he says. You know, I understand. I do. If you really want to... I have to be very sensitive on this, because they're going on a witch hunt, and they'll take you down if they see you're saying something they don't like. But, I don't like using this word, but it's the only way to properly describe it. If you really want to take a red pill about YouTube, and about a very large channel that right now is attempting to control an entire market of videos. Just check really any popular website about YouTube videos and you'll see it being talked about, but given what they're doing right now, you have to be very careful what you say, and you know, I'm not in any danger whatsoever, but I just like to play it safe and not name any names here. But read about it. Read about it, watch some videos, and you make the judgments yourself. But everyone's talking about it. easy to find. So, it's about a channel about two, maybe two, I think it's two, at least originally run by two brothers who are fine individuals, if that gives you any hint about the channel's name without actually saying it. But I understand, I don't go into that territory at all anyways, so I'm fine. Hey Review Bro, big fan here. Was just wondering if you ever had the pleasure of trying Oreos with Tropicana orange juice. The combination is surprisingly tasty, and I'd love to see a video reviewing the concoction. Also on that note, would you do reviews based off of your fans' enjoyments? Love your show, and keep up the good work, bruv. Thanks, bruv. Do you just put the Oreos in the orange juice? Did you blend it up, or how does that work? Did you dip it in, or what? I mean, do you just? It's interesting though. I wonder. And maybe that'd make for maybe an interesting little type of video to make at some point in time. Interesting. Going back to the sink and splashing a little water on my face. The microphone down right now. Drying off the hands. Sometimes it lets us snap out of it a bit. This bout is worse than past ones. Pretty bad, but not the worst, But sometimes splashing some water on your face, some cold water, kind of snaps you out of it. On to the next. If you home cook a burger, how do you layer it? What ingredients do you use, and between which layers do you put them? I mean, what I do if I ever make a burger, I know people like to do this to their burgers. They sometimes like to put stuff in the burgers. Sometimes they'll use onions. They'll kind of put them with the meat. Sometimes there's even a little concoction where you can put, or some contraption where you can put a type of sauce inside the burger, like a cheese sauce or a barbecue sauce. I've seen these. I'd like to do that. But when I make burgers on the, just on the grill, I just have a simple burger, nothing fancy about it. I'm not a 2-time personal chef or any sort of certified cook or anything like that. I don't have credentials, but I'll just get the quality chopped meat. I'll just hand form it into a patty. The most I'll do, I like salt. So sometimes I just, season the patty while it's cooking a little bit, a little salt, maybe a tiny little bit of pepper. Nothing really more than that. It doesn't really need anything fancy, I don't think. I'm fine with it that way, Don't need to put any butter on it like the Burger King does. Dear Mr. Review Bro, well, cat's out of the bag. I've made international news. The Flatfoot's found in my cookbook. I'm finally, quote, where I belong, unquote. Perhaps you read about it. I blew a reporter a kiss. They want to know where I've hidden my collection. Can you imagine? Give up my life's work? They can't find Mother either. Like I'd ever give her up. So, they can do what? Let her rot? They don't realize I saved these people. Well, where's my parade? All I get is needles stuck in my arm. Actually, I kind of like that bit. They say I'm not to be kept here, that I unnerve the Thursday day traders. The Flashwoods don't want me. I'm to live with whitecoats, with the other midnight wanderers. Well, I look forward to it. I've already planned everything out. Perimeter slitches if you catch my wonderment dust. I'm in the library now, catching up on your magnificence. I hope you're well. I know you alone understand my plight. What I'll do next? Perhaps I'll adapt my technique. I'll even let you choose my next method. What do you suggest? I'll be back in the woods soon. Maybe try out the East Coast. Could you do a change of scenery? Don't worry. I'd never be so brash as to intrude upon your surroundings and dealings. Your turf is your own, and you must understand, for your own safety, we should restrict our contact to our online correspondence. Your listeners, on the other hand, I've already visited some ne'er-do-wells, some ants who questioned your divinity. I changed their minds. I cackled while writing that. It was somewhat of a pun. Sorry that was not keeping in with our chaste endeavor. I'll break a toe in penitence. I look forward to my move and a new dumpling clash. My guts are going to be squelchy bright. Till you dream, your friend, brother, follower, and chronicler, Orca Man. Orca Man, he's gone on some hard times too, and seems like he's busting out. You know, he's just doing what he's born to do. Glad to have you with us still. And let's see what we got. Dear Report of the Week, or The Report of the Week. Every day I have to walk up a long, dark, creepy country road for working in a pub in the wilderness. I'm glad I've taken your voice to take my mind off the potential homeless serial killers hiding in the twisted trees, not to mention the real threat of cars and poorly fenced-in bulls. You ever seen the UK comedy Garth Marenghi's Dark Place? I know, like Steve Brule, and this is very similar in that the comedy comes from intentionally poor production values. I'll leave you a link to a scene below. Other comedies to check out: Jam, The Mighty Boosh, The In-Betweeners, and The Young Ones. There really are tons of British comedies waiting to be discovered. I actually have seen, well, I mean, this is literally, and I apologize, an insult to your show. It really is, and I know you know why, obviously, if you've seen it. Back in, I forget when this was, whenever this show came out, the US version of the In-Betweeners, you know, I don't know if that came out in 2010, 2011, and 2012, and the real days of, you know, when MTV literally hit rock bottom, when you still had the Jersey Shore dying out. You had the American version of the In-Betweeners. You had some stupid celebrity shows, and you had some show based around the guy who had a big penis, and that's it. I forget the name of that show, but I remember there was one of just about that. I mean, that really shows they hit rock bottom right there. Have to make a show about that. But, I mean, the US version of the In-Betweeners was, garbage. I've never seen the UK version, but I figure it has to be so much better than that. I mean, there's a reason why this show only went for like 1 or 2 seasons. But, I don't really watch much television anymore, but, you know, still something to check out here and there. Also, I have a potential name for your new energy drink review, or soft drink reviews. fizzled out. I think it works as it implies a loss of energy, like your other series, Running on Empty, an Energy Crisis, and even The Idle Mind. I hope your 2016 is fan-friggin-tastic, and any attacks of anxiety and depression are swiftly recovered from. I find that the more you experience these issues, the stronger you become, and the easier it is to mentally deal with the situation. In fact, now, when I experience anxiety, I think, alright, I've experienced this before, and I'll keep doing what I do, and have this slight chemical imbalance sort itself out, like a small humming in the background, if that makes sense. Love you, shizzle dog. Thank you. And you are right. When you deal with it more, you understand how it is. It's like, yeah, it's depression. What can you do? It'll be there for a while, but it'll eventually go away. Think all these bad things, but they'll go away in due time. I mean, I myself, I've been pretty experienced with depression in the past 3 years, In 2013, I was probably depressed for probably around 7 months out of the year. 2014, I was depressed for probably 9 months out of the year. Literally, continuously, every day, just wanted to, can make assumptions about what, people with depression think about. All the way from January until September. 2015 was a good year. 2015 was a good year, though. Some rough patches, but it was a good year, 2015 was. But it happens. It happens. 2016 has been overwhelmingly good, but this is the first rough patch of the year, I figure. But as I say, January is always it's always a difficult month. This person writes, "Dude, you're so damn cool. Will you be my new daddy?" And, I don't know if I can be. I don't. I mean, there's a waiting list at this point. I'll just have to put you on the queue, and we'll have to see. I'm gonna have to put you on the waiting list, and we'll see. We will see. But I can't say yes or no at this point because, there's a lot of other candidates, so we'll contact you in 3 to 7 weeks, and we'll keep you updated. Hi, Report of the Week. My favorite place to get a burger from is a large establishment called the Habit Burger Grill. It is mostly a California chain, but I believe there are a few locations in other states, including New Jersey, which might be close to you in Review Bra Land. You should try them out if you have the chance. Their burgers are in the same tier as Five Guys and In-N-Out, in my humble opinion. Speaking of In-N-Out, I enjoyed your In-N-Out review, and I'm glad you finally got to try it. I hope you enjoyed your visit here in California. If you don't mind sharing a bit, can you tell us more about your recent travels? Did you go to Disneyland, or is there anything else you witnessed or experienced, besides what you mentioned in recent VORW, that may be worthy of a brief story? Mostly to California. I mostly just went there really for a very short period of time. I didn't do much. Mostly my main purpose was just to get the In-N-Out burger. And really that was it. I was able to mostly just waddle around at the airport. So really the majority of the stories were really shared in the last VORW. But one thing that I should mention is how big these airports are. If you're ever flying and you've never been to either Atlanta, Georgia's International Airport, or LAX, give yourself adequate time to get to where you want to be, because these places are massive. Especially the Georgia one. This one in Atlanta, Georgia, is so insanely huge. You need at least, you need at least several, at least a good good probably 1 to 2 hours in advance as soon as you get to that airport, because, I mean, these places are massive. And these corridors just go on for almost miles, it seems. And I see sometimes these poor guys, just running pell-mell through these long connecting hallways, just sprinting, trying to get to their terminal, and I just feel bad for them, I mean, chances are if they're sprinting like that, it's already too late, but I guess you can't. You can always hope. Person writes, regarding the 50 states, I have another question for you. If you could live in any state other than the one you currently reside in, which one would it be and why? Also, I wanted to mention that one reason I really like your VORWs is because of your various recommendations for neat things. For example, I was listening to a VORW from last year and you mentioned the game Agar.io. I checked it out and it's a really fun little time killer. Never still play that game. I'll play it from time to time, not too much. I'll have to mention another game maybe after this message. If there's one state I could live in, I have to factor in everything, okay? I have to factor in if the state is a beautiful place, how things are there, what exactly is there. And, this answer is going to take a lot of people off guard, but it's what I would say. If I could live in any one state other than the one that I'm in now, I'd say Virginia. I would. Just because of everything that's there in several ways. But I'd give that as my answer, at least right now, for the present. As for games, this is one that I actually remembered a little while ago. Sometimes I will play a little tiny little flash game on the computer here and there, but not too much anymore. Mostly now I'm back to playing Mahjong Titans, which is built into any Microsoft computer. Go to the start menu, look up the games, and you'll find it there. And I play that most of the time. I always try to do the Fortress one, and I fail oftentimes at it, but that's always the most fun one to do for me, the little Fortress Mahjong stage. The cat one is pretty good too, but that one I'm pretty good at. But there's this game I remember from 2011 I used to play. I forget the name. I'll get it to you in another VORW. I forget the name right now. Remind me, though, if you remember, if you want to hear about it, I can talk about it in the next one, and I'll look it up and be able to talk about that in the next VORW. When I give my little spiel at the beginning, I'll mention this one. But this is a game I used to play in 2011 a lot, and I just remembered it recently. I investigated, and it was actually still there. I thought, that's pretty neat. It's a pretty neat little game. Not much to it, very simple, but I thought it was neat. He says, I also appreciate suggestions from other listeners' letters. For example, someone recommended you the book Endymion by Hermann Hesse, and I read it and really enjoyed it. And it's one of my favorite books. Because of it, I've gained a new favorite author. In the spirit of paying it forward, I thought I'd recommend a few books myself. I think you would really like these, and maybe some listeners will like them too. Some are Notes from the Underground and Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky, Stoner by John Williams, and The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. And just for the heck of it, I'll recommend a couple of movies. I know you're not a big film buff, but I think you and other listeners would like these flicks. Drive, 2011, Taxi Driver, 1976, and Nightcrawler, 2014. Hope you are well, take care, and goodbye for now. And goodbye, and thank you very much for your nice letter. This person says, I swear I've seen you around where I live. You live in North Carolina. Well, shoot. How you got me? Yep, North Carolinian. That's where I am. You got me. Your intel checks out. Checks out. Let's see what else we got. We're now moving. We're here in the Rep Week Interview 1 inbox now, so let's see what else we've got here. Okay, and we have one more page now of letters. Went upstairs and printed the rest out now. Let's see. One page here, front and back, of letters, double-sided. Printed in Times New Roman 9-point font. So, good deal of text. Same thing, I guess in total 2 pages of it. But you can say your letters have been immortalized on paper now. Okay, let's see what we got here. Dear Mr. Bra, Logan of the Official Opinion Podcast here. I'd like to start off by saying I'm a newcomer to your channel, but already a major fan. I first found your channel from a Facebook page called YouTube Snapshots, which posts interesting or funny screenshots of YouTube videos. I was intrigued when I saw a picture of a man in a suit comparing water to water, and I had to check it out. Now, a month later, your reviews and VORWs are something I'm always happy to see on my subscription page. Your humor and general style are a great way to keep me entertained. You recently touched on the subject of thrift stores recently and made tremendously fine points on how fun shopping there can be. My family and I have been thrift shoppers for a few years now, with almost weekly trips to many Goodwill stores. I know I have made a lot of very nice scores as an action figure collector through a lot of local locations. On my birthday back in 2014 at a local thrift shop that was going out of business, I found a vintage 1977 R2-D2 large-size action figure, complete in its original box, marked for only $8 and cut down to $4 for the store's final days. Just goes to show you how right you are about what we can find if we know where to look. Another major aspect to your shows which has recently inspired me to start a new hobby of mine, shortwave radio. In one of your somewhat recent reviews, you'd mentioned you were listening to it, and I was quickly interested in what it was all about, being a police scanner listener myself. A little bit of research later, and I was quickly hooked. Your earlier VORWs on the subject really helped me along with some of the information I was looking for on it. I thank you for inspiring this newfound interest. I have a few questions. I know you are more of an old soul, as it were, but are there any parts of pop culture you're into? Star Wars or Mad Max, perhaps? Star Wars is pretty good, though I still have yet to see the new one. I know. I still have yet to see it because, I just don't get out too much and kind of waiting for all the hype to die down before I even consider seeing it, So that's that there. And Mad Max I've never seen either, but I've looked it up. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, it's received rave reviews. People love it. I figure it can't be that bad. Mad Max, right? Whatever it's called, Road Warrior, Rocky Road. It's I've heard some good things and praise about it. Besides radio, food, and YouTube, what other hobbies do you have? Do you collect anything besides the damn good-looking suits? I enjoy writing. I try to be a literary person. I try writing. I try reading. Drawing too. Abstract drawing. Sometimes it's a good way to get your thoughts out. Or sometimes I like making maps. Sometimes sometimes I'll make different maps. Taking walks. Other things too. Sometimes shopping around. Especially as I say at the Goodwills, so the places that are guaranteed to have the suits and stuff that I like. And I'm also a small-time numismatist. I like to sometimes collect some coins. Even now, even though I don't collect that many coins, I always, whenever I get pocket change, I always scour them and I always look at the dates on all of them. And always check the dates on every coin. Sometimes I'll say in my mind, say if say I'll look at the different dates on the coins. One time I found a penny from 1920. That was pretty interesting. Got that as a change at a local deli. That was neat. But sometimes I just look at the dates on the coins, and I'll sometimes say to myself if that was a good or a bad year. When I have nothing better to do, I'll look at the coins. I say, all right, that was 1985. That was an okay year. 99, pretty solid year. 05, it's a pretty good year. 08 wasn't a good year. 2011 wasn't a good year. 2012, 2013, 2014 weren't good years. 2015 was a pretty good year, and I don't think there's any real coins out there from 2016 yet. But you know what I mean. Just kind of say that. And lastly, well, I'll answer your question without addressing it, but the answer to that is yes. This is thanks for reading from Logan. Well, thank you for writing, Logan. Hey, the Report of the Week. I'm sending another letter to you for two reasons. One, I realized after sending my first and more lengthy letter that I'd had a link in the text, so I wanted to make sure that you check the spam folder in case it appears there. Don't worry, the link is non-malicious. No worries. I got it. It's fine. I read it already. And so I have one more question that I was going to ask you, but I forgot to. With the recent Powerball lottery craze this past month, I wanted to know, what would you do if you woke up one day and found out that you won the jackpot when it was at the highest amount? Would you buy a car, a house, a ton of suits, go traveling? Would it have any effect on your channel? Thanks, and take care. For a while, I'd disappear. I would. I'd take the money and literally run. Because everyone, for the most, with a very few small exceptions, everyone I know would want some of that money in any way they can get their grubby hands on, just have some respect. I hate to call it grubby hands, but, you see how people's families get torn apart when people win the lottery, It's just avarice. It's greed. Everyone wants that money. Hey man, I was your friend for 10 years. You wouldn't mind if you gave me like 20 million, come on, Remember that time I gave you a ride to the mall? I think that deserves that money, come on. Could use some of that. And people come up with these reasons. You give in to that, you'll be dead. Guaranteed. Either someone will kill you in cold blood for that money. It's gonna happen. It's that simple. People become real monsters when it comes to wanting money. And it's been proven such, conclusively. But that's what oftentimes happens to lottery winners. So what do? I'd give sums of money to the people, to, my family. Really wouldn't let anyone, as I said, with very few exceptions, maybe like one person, into my little inner circle, to really share the most of the money with. But otherwise, just give very, good, but not massive sums of money to those who need it that I know, and that's it. No more. They're not getting any more. They can do with it as they please, but that's it. And I'm disappearing, just going off the map. And I'm going to stay off the map for probably about 2 to 3 years before actually venturing out again once it's all blown over. And then I'll restart things. Then I'd probably, go out, buy a nicer house. Nothing special, but say a house that's worth a couple $100,000, Buy some shortwave airtime on many stations. Rival that of Brother Stare, who's pumping out 300 hours of broadcasts a week. or a day, I'm sorry. 300 hours of transmissions a day. If you don't know who Brother Stare is, let me tune to him right now with great ease. What frequency is he on here? 77570. Let's go there. And you'll hear him. He's this guy here. If you've ever listened to shortwave, you know this voice.
But to make him just, who is unjust, that is a work for infinite love and mercy. To justify the ungodly, this is a miracle worthy of a God, the only...
But he's got this, religious shortwave empire, pretty much, and he's this religious broadcaster, and he just got so much money, He asks for $1 million, people give it to him. I mean, it's that crazy. And he's pumping out 300 hours of content a day. He's got that many frequencies on shortwave. He's got relays all over the U.S. He's got, I think, 2 relays in Tennessee. He's got 120 hours of programming out of Florida stations. Got WBCQ actually carries him. WINB out of Pennsylvania does. WHRI with their powerful 250 kilowatt transmitters, real giant signals right there, all over the world from that. And then, of course, Kaliningrad in Bulgaria, he's got some relays out of there too. That's the former Radio Bulgaria International station, which was sold back in 2013, I believe, or 2012. And this broker called Spaceline Ltd. bought it. And he's been buying relays there, about 100 kilowatt transmitters to Europe and the Middle East. And, crazy. He's just got the whole world covered, every inch of it. He's got shortwave stations, satellite radio, AM radio, FM radio. He's got all the bases covered, live web streams. He even has a phone number you could call. And if you call it, you'll be able to hear him on the telephone. I mean, he's got literally everything covered. Got a presence on YouTube, everything. I mean, this guy, he's got every media platform he can find. He's even got someone on social media. I mean, this guy's, 83 years old, and he's got a real rich history, I'll tell you that, if you want to read about good old Brother Stare, the last day prophet of God. He's making profit all right, that's for sure. $1 million he got in the last month, just because he asked for it. And he doesn't even have any shame. I mean, he says, if that $1 million, I bought some shortwave airtime, and I bought myself a new car, too. But, yeah, great. Good for you, Sorry for that little impromptu shortwave lecture. You can read about Brother Stare if you want. Hello, Report of the Week. I usually message you through YouTube, as you know. But for this instance and possibly future occasions, I'll be sending messages by email because it's easier if I send art through email as opposed to YouTube messages. Now, the good stuff. I've drawn this breathtaking portrait of you. I do apologize profoundly and profusely that is not an oil-on-canvas painting. But let's be honest here. I do not need such tools to recreate your alluring facial features and those glistening yet... yeah, right. Those glistening yet seductive eyes of yours. But I digress. I do hope you enjoyed my portrait of you as much as I did drawing it. I expect to see more in the future. Absolutely, it's a great drawing. You saw it was prominently showcased in this this VORW, and you are a very good drawer, and I do compliment you for that. You certainly can draw, and it's very nicely done. Also, how often do you polish / spit shine your shoes? That was always something I was curious about. As always, keep up the great work and keep the great content coming. I like to polish them every single day. Unfortunately, there's 2 means of polishing it. I have the full shoe shine kit where I actually, dab the stuff, the actual polish on, and I'll use the rag, and I'll put it on the little stand, and I actually rub the rag back and forth, like they used to do in the old days. I have a kit that does that. That'll do more infrequently because it's, time-consuming. But I also have, the standard little liquid polish, which is good for just walking out the door, but you have to do that on a daily basis. Just get the little sponge, rub it vigorously on the shoe, and that's that. But, those, I ran out of them. I mean, I don't have any of those polishers at work. And I've been too absent-minded to get another one, so we'll see if I ever remember. But still, I try to polish them frequently. Try to clean and polish them. I always like the shoes, and something that should be treated good. As always, keep up the great work and keep the great content coming. Thank you very much, and thank you for that drawing. It's a very nice one, and it's always great to see fan art. Hey, Review Bro, big fan. Your videos always help me chill before going to bed. Have you ever considered branching out into reviewing other things, like albums or movies? Also, here's some fan art. It's based on The Wolf of Wall Street, in case you aren't familiar with the film. Thank you very much for that. And, my pleasure to help you out there. The Wolf of Wall Street is a very interesting movie, and as one may imagine, I do certainly like the suits in the movie. They really are a trademark of how I like my suit style, so if you ever want to get a good cinematic visualization of how I like my suits, just watch The Wolf of Wall Street, because every single suit in that movie is Review Bra approved. So, you've got that. Wolf of Wall Street. Good film. It's a good film. Takes place in the 90s. Hey there, pal. I was wondering, what do you eat besides fast food? Do you have any favorite regular speed food? Thank you for writing, number one. And secondly, bread is nice. Bread's good, have a roll here and there. Have a bagel. Without butter. Makes it good. Sometimes I'll eat, fruit and vegetables. Had some mandarin oranges the other day. There was a little sack of them, and I was picking at them. Mandarin oranges. And these small little, they're like mini oranges. And they're pretty good. Don't have to worry about any sort of seeds. So you don't have to worry about holding the little piece up to the light and looking for seeds. Seedless. They're good. Apples are nice. Actual apples, not those McDonald's apple strips, Actual apples. Munch away at. If you want to consider pizza slow food, there's that. I mean, you could say it's in between. Could take around 20 to 30 minutes to make a pizza, but yet Little Caesar is hot and ready. Kind of like fast food pizza, but it's the best. I mean, Little Caesars it's got some great stuff. Steak, of course. Salads are okay too. I don't like spaghetti. Something about it that just, I can't even explain it. It's just, it's like snakes or worms or something. Don't know what it is. Mixed with this sauce, Like a bowl of, entrails almost. These worms. Let's not get into that. Not a big fan of spaghetti, though. I'm not. Hey, man. Sorry to hear that you've had a really bad day. Just wanted to say I hope things get better soon. Thanks for making the videos, and I really enjoy watching you. Thank you very much, and, things will get better in due time. Gonna be some more, bad times to come before the good times get here, but, it gets better. It gets better. It does. I know it will. I know for a fact it will. I see the end in sight. I do. Hey, Review Bro. Just wanted to ask you the following. If you were in a situation where you could live anywhere, where would you live and why? Also, while I was out backpacking in the Rockies, I was able to get a few pictures. Here's one, and do with as you please. Thank you very much for that. It's a very beautiful picture. Certainly suits the winter setting. It's a very fine one. Very fine one. Always like the snowy scene, you know? It's always pretty. As you heard me talking earlier, snow is a very pretty thing. And, especially just after it falls or once it's fallen. It's very pretty. Snow. If I could live anywhere. Because we already mentioned Virginia, let's not say Virginia. If anything, if I had money, right. Say I had the Powerball winnings, that amount of cash, but no one really pestered me about it. And I could actually still, live a life, Say I had that kind of money, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars. I'd at least buy, a nice penthouse in Honolulu, Hawaii. I was there in 2014, and it's a very beautiful place. Always warm. But I'd go nuts if I were there constantly. That's why I'd get a penthouse. I'd go there every now and then, stay for a week or two, and leave. Have it well maintained, maybe in some high rise. But the weather there is the same every day. 88 degrees, sunny, light wind off the Pacific. Possibility of showers. Every day. Pull my hair out eventually. Tell you, when am I going to get a nice cloudy 72-degree day? It's not happening, buddy. It's like getting, too much of a good thing. Trapped in paradise. Hello, Rep Week. Just a few questions and comments. Number 1, do you think you'll be going on any international trips anytime soon? That's a good question. I couldn't tell you if I will or won't be. Presently, I don't. Don't have anything scheduled. But you never know what can happen. Never know what can happen, my friend. Always the chance of something happening. And number 2, have you ever seen X-Files? I ask because one of the main characters, Fox Mulder, always wears really great suits in the signature 90s looser fit style that you wear in your videos. Oh, absolutely. I've seen the entire X-Files series. I just watched 2 episodes every week until the end. I just watched the whole thing. I know they got the new X-Files now on TV. Haven't watched it, but I hope it's doing well, because X-Files in the 90s was and early 2000s too. X-Files, it's known for the 90s, but it went until, I think, 2002. It was a great show. And you're absolutely right. Fox Mulder always did wear very great 90s suits. Very snappy dresser. And his suits always were in great styles. They really were, And 3, why do you like going out on night walks? Unfortunately, where I live, there are quite a few robberies slash assaults that happen in the late hours, so I'm unable to find walking around at night relaxing or enjoyable. It's a dumb question, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. I like going on night walks. Number 1, the area that I'm in right now is relatively safe. Don't have to, low crime rate, so I don't have to really worry about that. Number 2, I hate to say this, but it's really one way that I like to do night walks is because I get to go outside when there's no people around, and that's it. I'm an introverted individual, and it's the closest I can get to really being alone. I just get to walk out, walk down the street. I can't do it now because there's snow everywhere, unfortunately, and walking in the street in the middle of the night, where there's no place to get off the road is dangerous, and it's a good way to get, mowed down by a motorist who's not expecting you to be there. When the snow melts, I'll be back there walking the streets, guaranteed. But I like going out because there's no people there. No one. You're guaranteed to see not a single human being in your path. Just have to walk out, and it's just me. And that's it. Just me. I can collect my thoughts, could enjoy nature, no distractions, no people, no cars, nothing. And it's my way to get away from everything, in a sense, Be able to just walk along, look at the stars above me, be able to feel the cool night air against me. There's long stretches of road, so I actually be able to just go in the middle of the road and just walk right down the yellow line, because I could see the glimmer of headlights if they're coming from a very long ways away. Could just walk down the road, hear the empty sounds of the night, cricket chirping here and there. Sometimes see some of the nighttime sprinklers on from people's yards or properties. And I'll just be able to walk down and take a nice leisurely walk, get some exercise, and it's very liberating in a way, too, to be able to just walk out when nobody else is there. And to do so, and just really be able to collect your thoughts, be able to think about what's important to you, and to do so in solitude, but the same way, being able to experience nature at the same time without having to go deep into the woods to do so. And to do it at night, too. You don't have to worry about the sun. It's cooler. It's dims everything down, easy on the eyes, and I like the darkness, too. So it's always a very major win for me. The individual writes, also, I recently tried DiGiorno's stuffed crust pizza because of your moderately positive review, and I really liked it. I used to hate frozen pizza, but your reviews have opened my mind. And lastly, I hope you are still planning on reading some of your fiction to us again, because recently my favorite VORWs are where you read your work on the air. Thank you. And thank you for writing. And I do. I've actually been working on the story Regression of Life some more. It was at 15 pages when I last read it, and I've added 5 additional pages of material. I took a little break in the story. I literally drew a dotted line on the sheet, the Google Docs sheet. And because otherwise I was just kind of transcribing what I was writing on paper on the story, and I wasn't adding actually anything new. I was just trying to translating what I had already written. So I drew a dotted line where I left off, and I said to be added. And then after that, I just began writing new things from where I left off on the paper that I was writing. I was just typing it directly on, so I added 5 new pages. And then I'm going to transcribe eventually what I had already written. So that's probably about actually 5 more pages. So in total, I've got about 10 pages added. So now it's, around probably when all is done. Right now, it's about probably going to be 26 pages long or so, short story. With more pages to come. Maybe I'll get it to around 40 or 50 pages by the time I'm done. We'll see. But, things are going. Things are taking a turn in the story for this person. But I know the part that I've read on VORW, it's not gotten that far yet. But things are taking a turn. For the better or for the worse, who can say? But things are taking a turn for our main character. Last page. Still repweekinterview1@gmail.com. Hey John, let me start out by saying how great of a job you do. I found your channel a few years back when it was in its infancy. This was back when I myself used to work for Monster Energy's my financial branch in Long Island, New York City, and New Jersey, before they did merge with Coke and Claire Rose. I always like to see how people were viewing the product, and your reviews always gave a fair assessment of the drinks. I'm so happy to see that you are doing well and continue to grow your channel these years later. I had always wondered if you still did the reviews, as you did such an awesome job, and I especially loved when you called a product crappy. I believe it was one of those 5-hour energies of the sort. Either way, a couple of months back before the holidays, my girlfriend had told me that she looked up a new monster, and your videos popped up. I once again started watching a few, and needless to say, they were still fantastic. I had been meaning to message you for some time, but kept procrastinating, as work and the holidays seemed to eat up the day. Plus, I'm sure you are swamped with mail of sorts yourself. In any case, I just wanted to touch base and wish you a prosperous 2016. I have a feeling big things are on the horizon. Also, I wanted to leave you a piece of advice. Don't ever stop doing what you are great at. You're obviously very gifted and passionate about what you do, and most of all, you are a winner. Don't let any of these naysayers get in your way, because that's exactly what they want. The reason they give you a hard time is because they are secretly trying to clog up your success, because deep down, they know they do not have the courage to do what you do. In the meantime, keep up the hard work, buddy, and we'll talk soon. Hope to hear from you. Best wishes. Thank you very much, and, it really is great to, to be able to hear from you, and especially since you've been with me from 2011, that must be really something to have remembered this guy who did these reviews back in, 2011, and you come back and here he is, still doing these things. So, thank you. Great to have an old time viewer with us still. Great to see you're still here. And, of course. Let's see. One more in this inbox. Hi, review bro. My name is Simone. I guess it's Simone. S-I-M-M-O-N-E. Simone. We'll say Simone. I guess it's Simon. I'll say Simone, though. Well, Simone. That's how I'll pronounce it. And I saw you read my friend Chad's fan mail on your video, and I was so excited. To answer your question, my favorite nationwide food chain is McDonald's. I like to eat the quarter-pounder BLT because it has the best veggies and a good-sized meat patty. I also like the McChicken sauce, that's mayo, to dip it in, and to dip my fries in the McChicken sauce. Have you ever tried fries with mayo? I'm not a big fan of mayo, but what else do we have here? What do you think of McDonald's going bankrupt? What do you think fast food workers should make? I think McDonald's is just on the way down. I mean, the craze from the all-day breakfast is wearing off. They gotta do something else to keep them afloat, which they aren't. I just think that it's just bad business decisions on their part, and now they're feeling the burn for it. And the fast food workers, I mean, I think their pay should be varied from, really I think it should be minimum wage, and that needs to vary by state to state. And the given situation that, they're in. What else does the person ask here? I love your reviews. You have very pretty eyes and like your water cup. Where did you get that water cup? It is like a chalice. It is a chalice. The water cup is, it was given to me as a gift years and years ago, back in the 90s. So it's been there for a while, but it hasn't been used. It's just been tucked away. Whole set, I have about 5 of those glasses. A couple of them are broke, but it's all I drink out of. But I have about 5 of them. I also love your hair. How do you get it so shiny when you slick it back like that? I use Brill Cream. It's a authentic product used in the 1950s and 40s by men when everyone slicked their hair back. And I just do it in that vintage style with a vintage comb. And that's how I get it as it is. Yeah. This question, yes. Let's see what else. I'm curious if you prefer smoky or tangy barbecue sauce. I prefer It all depends on the strength of the tanginess, but tanginess is pretty good. I do like a little bit of tanginess to something. It gives you a little kick that you wouldn't get otherwise. Honey barbecue is my favorite, but then comes the tangy barbecue. That can be pretty good too. Also, I've never been able to try Trump steaks. I don't know if they're available in Canada. Would you ever review them for me? Do you like steaks? Thanks so much. Regards, Simone. Trump steaks, does that mean, is that Donald Trump's brand of steaks? Are they making America great again? I don't know. I've never heard of Trump steaks. I wonder if they have the little Donald Trump T kind of inscribed with like a little grill mark on the steaks. I wonder. The Trump insignia. Now on to VORWinfo@gmail.com. Good day, hope you're well. Really liked your shows. Best regards, Chris. Thank you for writing, Chris. Hey, review, bro, I really wanted to say, find your VORWs interesting and relaxing. I'm in class right now listening to one of your VORWs. Helps me focus on my work, hopefully, when you get to read this on your next VORW. Also, if you ever visit Chick-fil-A again, if you ever visit Chicago, I'm sorry. Again, try a restaurant called Mr. Sub and try the buffalo chicken tenders. Their tenders are on fire, boy. But hope you have a good day, sir. Thank you for writing. Chicago. I don't like to call it Chicago. I like to call it Chicago. I don't know why I throw an ER there, but, you know. That's what the people on the Voice of Korea do. They like to throw, this is North Korean radio. On shortwave, they like to throw an ER at the end of different words. This is Voice of Korea. I like to say career instead of Korea. And I remember they call it Chicago. So that's what I call it too. Sometimes. And last, hey Daddy. I'm glad you found a replacement for the old camera. I actually missed the humming and buzzing noises the old camera made, but at least it's in SD and the colors are alright. Yeah, this camera still does run on tape. But it takes a little while. If you watch the old videos in 2012 when I first had the other camera, you can see it didn't make that noise with the tape. But give this one a few years and it will, probably around 20, probably 19 or so, you'll start hearing the tape again. Who do you think will win the GOP Iowa caucus from Wojak? Well, speaking purely from a poll standpoint, according to Real Clear Politics, Donald Trump clearly, obviously. I mean, like him or not, clearly the people over there do, and it shows. It really does. You know, support him or not, I think, he's definitely going to win the Iowa caucus. I'm just going purely by the polls, what people say, what the people want. Like him or hate him, it's the polls are those numbers. They are what they are. And that concludes this VORW program. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the question for this program is, what is your favorite chicken, or which major establishment has your favorite chicken dish? That's the question, and please write to us. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please write to us via YouTube, youtube.com/user/report of the week. Go to the About tab, send message, and type in the contents of your message. Email us, repweekinterview1@gmail.com, repweekinterview1, the number 1@gmail.com, or vorwinfo@gmail.com. That's vorwinfo@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening, ladies and gentlemen. I know this week will get better a little bit for me, and that's all we got. Please write to us again. Comments, questions for me, feedback, suggestions, criticisms, any requests of yours. Fan art is greatly appreciated and will be prominently showcased in this program. And that's all we got for you. Please write to us. This show is not the same unless you write. Your writing really is what makes this show exactly what it is. VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. So please write if you can. Your message is always greatly appreciated, and it will be responded to in the next program. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great week. We'll catch you next week. Take care, everyone. Happy February. That's all. Goodbye. This is the voice of the Report of the Week, signing off.